Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi ta'ala wabarakatuh. I'm Astridin A. Bernado from Mindanao State University, Tawi Tawi College of Technology and Oceanography. Before anything else, I would like to thank the organizer of this international conference and my former master thesis advisor, Dr. Munap H. Hairullah, and of course my home university. My research title is Sama-Badjao Halaw from South Ubian, Tawi Tawi, Philippines from 2000 to 2018 narratives. The term halaw there is a Bahasa Malayo term which means driven away or cast out from the society or community. The term was adopted by Sinama, which has two meanings. One is referring to the person or people who had been driven away from the community. Two is the driven away itself. I am using the term Sama-Badjao because these people are inseparable. They belong to the same stock, the Sinama speaking people. For me, there is no distinct barrier that separates them. Sama-Badjao people from South Ubian municipality in the province of Tawi Tawi often illegally migrate to Sabah, Malaysia with heavy hearts, left their families at home, and endured the hardship of life being undocumented in Sabah, Malaysia. They struggled to live there and even hide in the hazardous swamps, dirty canals, and wild forests from the Malaysian authorities just to secure the future of their children who were left in Tawi Tawi. Legally speaking, they are illegal Filipino migrants in Sabah, but for them, they are just visiting another village, not a foreign country. Unfortunately, some of them were caught, jailed, and repatriated. Review of related literature. Several related literature on Halaw were reviewed. Many of them focused on the harsh experiences of Halaw under Malaysian detention, the history of Malaysian immigration, and etc. Based on these studies, there were several gaps that were needed to be bridged. That includes the sacrifices of Sama-Badjao in surviving as illegal workers and migrants overseas, particularly in Sabah, Malaysia, and the important role played by Halaw to the socio-economic conditions of Sama-Badjao society of South Ubian. Methodology. This research is a qualitative, narrative, and descriptive in style. This was conducted specifically in the island of Tabawan, Bintaulan, and Bubuan of South Ubian Municipality. Halaw were identified and verified through their documents given to them by Malaysian government and the Philippine government. Permissions to interview were asked from them personally after they were identified as key informants. So personal interview and focus group discussions were also utilized to extract information from the key informants during interview. Recording devices were set to make sure the answers or narratives of the key informants are recorded clearly. In the analysis of data, all collected data were transcribed in Sinama and then translated to English after they were analyzed and then presented in a narrative form. Presentation of data. Before migration, before migrating to Sabah, they engaged in several seasonal jobs such as carpentry works, sewage growing, farming, and fishing. But these seasonal jobs in South Ubian could not improve their living condition. This urged them to move out to Sabah and find jobs there to sustain immediate and future needs of their family. In other words, it is the economic conditions in South Ubian push them hard to migrate to Sabah, Malaysia. Sama-Badjao Halaw experiences in Sabah, Malaysia. Sama-Badjao Halaw while living in Sabah engaged in different working places and sacrifices just to earn more ringgits to sustain their families' needs back home. In construction companies, undocumented Sama-Badjao Mandul are usually protected from Malaysian authorities by their tauki or bosses. So within the construction sites they work in, they received 150 Malaysian ringgits, approximately 2,000 pesos daily, and that is 60,000 pesos monthly. Fishing. Those Halaw who cannot find any job engage themselves in fishing. They may privately own a boat or not. They catch anything edible just to earn more ringgits to support their families back home. Restaurants and households. On the other hand, Female Sama-Badjao Halaw engage in service works. They work in coffee shops, in Tamil and Chinese-owned restaurants, and department stores as service ladies. Some work as domestic helpers in well-off Sabah households. Despite the care and money received from their employers, working as maid is difficult because of the endless chores and errands. Protections from employers. Most Sama-Badjao Halaw who work under good bosses are well protected from Malaysian authorities and work in a comfortable environment. However, their protections and if their jobs end. Some Sama-Badjao Halaw were able to reach a decade or more in Sabah without being jailed and repatriated to the Philippines due to this protection. In Penjara or prison, while in Penjara, many Sama-Badjao experienced the difficulties of life. They received small quantities of food, not even enough for a baby's stomach, and drink water from faucets of comfort rooms. They slept on the concrete floor without beddings, wear just one dress throughout their life in prison, and have no choice but wear dirty garments while doing salah or Islamic prayer. Men aged 25 to 50 are spanked with hot rattan once or twice, so punched in their stomachs when they commit mistakes in counting or delay in having a bath, slapped if they have loud noises. The prisons are infested with rats, cockroaches, and mosquitoes as a form of death runs. In order to survive this scariest and the hardest life in Malaysian prisons, some Sama-Badjao Halaw adapt to the environment by making themselves busy with anything to kill time and making friends to talk to. Next is the effects of Halaw to the socio-economic condition of Sama-Badjao society of South Ubian municipality. Sama-Badjao Halaw bring good and bad changes to the people of Sama-Badjao society of South Ubian and its local government. The effect of Halaw being continuously deported from Sabah is prominent today. Their deportation brings changes to the socio-economic condition of Sama-Badjao society. First effect is open small businesses or sari-sari store. Most Sama-Badjao Halaw, especially those who severely experience harsh treatments from Malaysian authority, decide to stay put in South Ubian and open small businesses such as sari-sari stores to sustain their families' daily needs. Second effect is revolutionized the productivity of seaweed farming. The fear of being caught and spanked with boiled rattan triggered them to revolutionize ideas on agal-agal farming. They find ways to develop new techniques to boost the production of seaweeds in the problematic tides to allow seaweeds grow faster and heartier in an unhearty tide. Next is remittances decreased, poverty increased. Due to high salary, Sama-Badjao Halaw were able to send more remittances to their families back home and ease their living. They utilized their money to level up the standard of their living. After deportation, hundreds of thousands of pesos remittances that flow to the municipality of South Ubian are cut off. Decreasing remittances and staying in South Ubian result to poverty and high debt again. Next effect is the illegal drug selling. South Ubian was considered one of the fertile grounds for illegal drug activities because of the island's remote geography. So selling of shabu have become one of the alternative livelihoods there in South Ubian. Increased deportation also increases illegal drug businesses. Today, illegal drugs activities are already terminated. So, thanks so much to President Rodrigo Roa Duterte's war on drugs. So last effect is the remittances decreased, education affected. Fathers who had been deported face great fear from for their children's education. Sama-Badjao students from South Ubian stopped studying after The people who supported them are caught and jailed by the Malaysian police and later repatriated. So Halaw deportation brings great effects to the society of Sama-Badjao of South Ubian in aspects of youngsters' higher education. Conclusion. By studying the Sama-Badjao Halaw experiences in South Ubian and in Sabah, the research concludes that the Halaw phenomenon in the municipality of South Ubian is the main result of extreme poverty and unemployment status in the Philippines. They chose Sabah, Malaysia because, first, the short proximity of Sabah to South Ubian. Second, the historical and religious connections of Malaysians with Tausug and Sama-Badjao of Sulu Archipelago. And third, the availability of job opportunities for non-professional job seekers. The data also reveals that Sama-Badjao Halaw's living condition in Sabah vary from one person to another. The Halaw who work in Sabah without protection from their employer struggle much to cope with poverty. These Halaw did everything to earn money but not to the extent of selling their own dignity or hurting anybody. Halaw phenomenon brought positive and negative significant changes to the socio-economic conditions of Sama-Badjao society. Overall, their migration to Sabah is a great help to the socio-economic condition of Sama-Badjao society of South Ubian. If not disrupted and jailed by the Malaysian authority, the Sama-Badjao Halaw will greatly improve their poor life in South Ubian. But most of all, if poverty is addressed and job opportunities are open, South Ubian would become a progressive and peaceful community in the country. Recommendations. The Philippine national government, together with the BARM and local government unit of South Ubian, should take more initiatives to create more jobs for its people to assure basic needs are met without going to Sabah. The Philippine government should provide accessible venue to the people of South Ubian and other areas in Mindanao to facilitate processing of legal documents. Sama-Badjao people of South Ubian should find ways to own legal papers to enter Sabah. Resume operation and improve shipping lines via Semporna, Sabah, and Bungao for hassle-free and safe travel of the passengers. Cases of abuses of Halaw in the Malaysian prisons should be thoroughly investigated and studied by both government, the Philippine government and the Malaysian government with the help of the United Nations. Thank you very much. Magsukol.